flooring, floor covers? Discover the world of flooring today here at Dayton Approved with Dayton Carpet Online. Tommy Whitt comes and he tells us all about the different types of floors and how it's not as easy as you might think it is to do your own floor. Come on in and let's discover something new.
Welcome to the Dayton Approved Podcast with Frank O'Neill. This is where the local Dayton businesses get a spotlight.
Welcome to Dayton Approved, exploring Dayton small businesses and nonprofits with Dayton Discount Furniture. Today we've got Tommy Whitt here with Dayton Carpet Online. Did I say that right?
You said that right. We're really close.
All right. Are you sure? Did I say it right? Yes, I did say it right.
All
right, good. I wasn't sure. Tommy here has been doing flooring for many years, and we are very excited for him to tell us his story and how he got into it. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Thank you, Frank.
You look very excited.
I'm very excited.
Look very excited. All right. Well, we'll just get right into it. We always like to start with the mission statement. Tom's mission statement's pretty good, but really there's two main points that I wanted to point out on his mission statement here. And the first thing is he is a very customer-first approach is what he likes to do. So tell us about how you do that.
Well, through my years of experience, I come to the conclusion that when people are looking for a floor or basically any type of item, right. It's a blind item to them. Flooring is a luxury and a specialty type of item for a home. So when a customer calls, most of the time they kind of know a color and a texture, but they're not, even though they may go to Google or whatever, and a lot of customers do, they try to self-educate, and that's good that they do. In fact, I appreciate that, because then when they come to me, their expectations on the flooring are going to be higher than someone that just wants carpet,
right,
or just wants vinyl plank. This person knows the difference between the lower end quality versus on through to the higher end quality. So that's where I come in. I come in to that point to assist them in a realistic purchase for their home.
Okay. That makes sense. So you're saying there's different levels of customers as well that you kind of deal with.
Absolutely. And it's not a monetary difference. It's more of some people have educated themselves more, or they have bought flooring in the past and had bad experiences, and they kind of gauge their purchase from that, which is different than like a first-time home buyer or a first-time buyer with anything. Absolutely.
I know from my own personal experience that with my floor, I thought I could just put some, I guess you could say, it was like bamboo click and lock, but it was much thinner than the carpet and the tile. So when it came to the time to putting the two together, we had to add a whole nother level of subfloor, which just is a whole nother job in itself.
Exactly. They don't understand, when I'll get a phone call and they'll be like, yes, how much do you charge to do a laminate floor?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a loaded question to an installer or someone that does this every day, because to them, they just want a floor in, and they're not really aware of everything that has to take place prior to installing that floor.
Yeah, so there's a lot, there could be a lot or there could be none, and that's called prep work.
It is, and a good installer, like a lot of times, and that's the thing that separates my company, is like when I was young and would have to go out, there'd be problems, and I become that problem solver. And, so a lot of times salespeople, they don't go out, they don't understand themselves what has to happen in order for that floor to go in properly, that there's specs and things that the manufacturers want. So like in your case, talking about a floor that there needed to be another subfloor to make those floors even. Customers don't realize that. Like when we pull their floor up, what's it going to be like underneath of there? So, that's where someone with lots of experience like myself, I'm aware of those things. I try to educate people and let them know that, that this could be possible.
Another thing that's interesting, I know it's kind of a side note, but one of the things that I've learned from you is like, truly, it's floor covers. It's floor covering. Like your floor is like the subfloor essentially, and everything else is just your fancy, looks good cover.
Exactly.
And people don't realize that. They think that's the floor. And it's like, no, you're covering the floor is all it is.
Right. Well, we're doing two things. We're giving it a cosmetic makeover so that the house is modernized and brought up to date. Or it could be possibility pet damage or any of those variables. But, you're basically modernizing.
Yeah. With whatever new look or new material, perhaps whatever it is.
Maybe comfort level.
Yeah, comfort too. But that kind of leads us right into your second part that you really emphasize on your mission statement, which is attention to detail.
Absolutely. Everybody's had a blotched job that's ever had any type of construction done. Flooring is no different. We used to call it back in the 80s. We were called skilled craftsmen. And
kind of like the Subway guys, where they're called the sandwich artiste.
Yeah. And you have to be skilled in your craft, so when you start off in floors back in the 80s, you had to find someone that would let you work with them, and they would actually teach you the trade. Skilled tradesman's another word that's used, and you had to find a guy that actually had a good reputation, because one of the questions a store would ask you is who taught you how to lay floors?
Yeah, they want to know who was your teacher, your mentor.
It was the word of mouth, and that could get you into a good quality shop. My career, I always tried to work for independent shops that cared about quality, that wanted their installers to take the time to do the detail like you're talking about, and those little nuances and finishing touches that really make the difference. Like I guess my goal was to do the better homes and garden type finishing, where that professionals, doctors, lawyers, people in high-end houses would appreciate the work and the work ethic that I held.
Yeah, and the craftsmanship, like you said.
Absolutely.
Well, that jumps us right into your story. So why don't you tell us about how you got into flooring and how that all started in your whole journey, and why you love flooring so much?
Well, I tell you, I have to love it. I've been doing it a long time. I kind of come out of high school and, hadn't really worked like any type of regular job. And my relative owned Kegley's Carpet Town in Fairborn, Ohio. Okay. And, he was a guy that knew absolutely nothing about floors, but had a floor store and had the money to finance having fabrics.
Oh, wow.
And he sold everything based on price.
There you go.
And he would go down as low as he had to if you would just buy from him today. So it was kind of an interesting thing that I walked into. But he had one of the best installers around. His name was Joe Mattachoni, and he was a mentor of mine. And the guy that actually got me into the trade, which was a great installer, his name was Ken Jenkins. And he was working, I play music, so he was actually working, one of the guys I play guitar with, and his name was Paul. And he said, "Hey, you need to come pick up scraps and work for us." And I said, "I've never laid floors." He says, "Oh man, he'll pay you cash. This is a good opportunity for you." And from there it started. I went to work for them, and it went along. My friend quit, and then there I was in his position of being a premium helper. Yes, apprentice. That's kind of how I got in there, and worked with Ken and Joe, both off, back and forth, learning. I kind of become a guy that Reg, the owner of the store, would say, "Hey, I need you to go work with Joe today," or "Hey, I need you to go work with Ken today," Kind of started off like that.
Yeah. And then where did it go from there?
Well, it's an odd situation that you normally wouldn't hear from a guy. I kind of got cut short. Ken and I were working together full time. Ken took a fishing trip. I was so interested in floors, and I loved working with my hands. It was dirty work, but I didn't mind it. I fell in love with the trade. I said, "This is me. This is me." I'd never done anything else, but I knew this is what I was going to do the rest of my life. So I invested, like a lot of people. You know, when you're a helper, you get paid X amount of dollars, and if you have tools, you're worth a little bit more. If you have a van and tools, you're worth even more.
Right.
So, I had made the investment in a van and then some tools, and Ken and I were working for a company called Bryant Brothers, which was off of Needmore Road, and we called them a chop shop because they really didn't care who worked for them at all. If you were a body and you could carry carpet and you'd show up, hey, you were working, okay?
Yeah, they loved it.
Oh, yeah. It was a typical box store setting, third-party installers, and they didn't care. And so one day Ken says, I'm going to Lake Erie, and I'm going to do some perch fishing. I'm going to come back, and, you'll be off work. And I said, okay. Well, he comes back, and he says, well, I met a girl there. And I'm going back, and we're not going back to work. And he looks at me and says, but I'll tell you what. He said, I told Bob, and Bob's deceased now. He was a great guy. He was a installation manager for Bryant Brothers. He says, I told Bob you're a full installer, so you'll be able to start work Monday.
Oh, wow. There you go.
And I promise you, I was not a full installer.
Yeah, you were not ready.
But like anybody else, I had children. I had a wife at that time, and I had been in the trade for a while. And I said, I'm going to do this. I've got everything it takes. And he said, you'll make it, kid. He said, you'll make it. And sure enough, I went and ran 3 jobs for Bob. And at the end of the week, I went to get paid, and Bob called me in his office, and he looked at me. He goes, you can't lay floors, can you? And I said, no, not really good. I said, I'm just a good helper. And he says, yeah, I've already looked at your work. He said, but I tell you what, he said, I like the fact that you'll show up. I like the fact that you'll work hard. And I've not had one complaint with your attitude. You treat people really good. I asked a lot of questions. He said, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to keep you in your wheelhouse. And I'm going to give you some bedrooms to do. And I'm going to start you off at the bottom.
There you go.
And that was my lucky break. That's when I really felt good about the trade. I wasn't going to get the big jobs, but hey, I got my foot in the door of a big company, a major company in Dayton that was serving the community. There were several employees that worked for Bryant Brothers and a lot of families that were helped. And that's where I started. That's where I cut my teeth, was Bryant Brothers. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Kind of an odd story and kind of scary because, like I said, they would work anybody. But I got the practice in, and, it'd take me all day to do a bedroom type thing.
Right. Now you can do it probably in what?
It doesn't take me long. It doesn't take me long, I have acquired speed now.
Yeah, of course. Well, from there, then you went to, I believe you were saying, was it Buddy's or Roberts?
Yeah, what happened was I got a little bit better at doing floors, so I ended up taking a job with Buddy's Carpet Barn and working for them. They offered a little more training as far as being an installer. They actually wanted you to be a little better quality installer. Companies like Buddy's would have like seminars where flooring companies like Roberts Tool, not Roberts, but they're a tool company, and they sell flooring materials for homes. They would come in, give free seminars. Goon Law Company, they would come in, give seminars, and just give installers, tips and tricks and things that would, dial you more into your craft. And, and then you could go, they would give you literature. Hey, at the supply house, they're having a big to-do this weekend, going to have food. You go up there. Generally these companies would pay you to go through, more formal training. So, and that's kind of where I was at with the buddies thing. So
Okay.
so I was growing. I wasn't the big guy on the block, but I had enough experience at this point that I felt like I was doing reasonable work, and trying very hard to, what we used to say is taking pride in the work that I was doing. You know, that's a term you don't hear anymore.
No. Yeah. Well, it's a different type of pride now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then from there you went to Roberts, the big place.
Yeah. From there there was an in between Roberts, and it was a carpet consultant.
Okay.
I had a guy that managed a company called Reliable Brands, which was, I think, more at Dayton University area.
Okay.
And they were a major company, and a guy named Ron Bailey had contacted me. He was a installation manager for Reliable Brands, and he decided he was going to start a carpet store. And it just so happens I was friends with his son, Scott.
Okay.
And we kind of grew up together, and he was wanting to be an installer. He was a struggling installer, much like I was when I started. And his father said, "Hey, I'm going to start a carpet store. Can you?" And the guy literally started this store out of his garage.
Oh, wow.
And over in West Carrollton, off of Alex Road.
Okay.
And he had a condo, and so I go over and I do his first job. It's a little bedroom, and his store is called Carpet Consultants, and he's been in business a long time. He's a great business guy too, and so Ron took me under his wing. And at that point, I had to become more than just a carpet guy. And in the 80s, you were either a carpet guy, a vinyl guy, or a wood guy. Mm-hmm. Ceramic was being done, but you didn't hear much about it out of carpet stores. So, a long story short, Ron got into the new construction business, and that's kind of what happened in my career. I had to do what he wanted me to do. So. Mm-hmm. So I become his number one only crew, and I was taking all this work. So I ended up expanding my carpet because during that transition of the 90s, they went from, do you lay carpet? Hey, we want a vinyl guy too. So I ended up going to Armstrong School. And they paid for my school, and I spent 6 months driving to Cincinnati at a company called Ohio Valley, where I was formally trained by the best that Armstrong had.
Okay.
Which was nice because you would go there, they had booths, they would pull thousands and thousands of feet of vinyl out and cut it in squares, and you'd have to install these and just keep doing it and making seam work. And it was a very intense program, and it boosted me mentally.
Yeah.
It
gave you the confidence.
It put me right over the edge, and I worked with a guy named Larry Martin, and if anybody's listening to this that's a floor guy, and if they know Larry, then they know he is top notch. Like, we did the emblem for the Kentucky Wildcats emblem for the University of Kentucky.
Oh, wow.
And we were doing a lot of things with vinyl. Vinyl was big. Planks didn't exist.
Yeah.
So, and what happened is one of the guys that worked for Ron also had worked for Roberts, and then I had got into Roberts.
Okay.
So it was kind of a transition where I was actually because being a subcontractor at that time and not being independent, I was working for both of them at the same time, and then that's pretty much the way that went. Ron became a multi-million-dollar business. And I worked with Ron for about 7 years while working with Roberts too. I think at that time I had 7 to 10 guys working for me doing all brand new homes. Brand new homes. We build everything from Centerville all the way up to Mason. He had me on Charlie Sims' work, which was Charlie Sims Development, one of the largest. And it was all brand new. So when you're in brand new homes, getting back to meticulous, there's no furniture to hide any flaw. Your seams have to be invisible. Everything has to be perfect, crisp, clean edges, no frays, perfect, vacuumed, done.
Yeah, yeah.
So I developed a great work ethic working for Ron, and then Roberts was like very easy for me because even though most of those clients, I mean, you were dealing with people that were very wealthy and very picky.
Yeah.
And so I fit right in there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, my work was there, and I was with Roberts until they shut the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. When did they shut the doors? Do you remember?
You know, I'm thinking somewhere around 94, 95, 96. Might have been 97, somewhere.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Late 90s.
Late
probably.
90s, yeah. Yeah, and it was kind of tragic. I ended up being with them almost, I think, 12, 13 years. I serviced the Roberts in Centerville, which is West Carrollton, Springfield, Piqua, Cincinnati.
Yeah. So you were all over the place.
I was. They used me a lot, and like I said, they paid for my education, a lot of seminars. Working for Ron, I will add this, is Ron was the first guy in Dayton, Ohio to bring Pergo laminate flooring in.
Really?
So when it comes to my skill set, I laid the first generation floor.
Right.
And I have followed each generation, upgrading my education with each floor up to the vinyl planks. So
Wow. So you've seen it all.
I've seen it all. I've seen failures in floors. I've seen them come out with stuff, and you think, oh, this is great, and the next thing you know, it's a recall. It's a recall, and then they look at the installers going, hey, can you fix this? I mean, these big manufacturers don't have a solution, and then when they do get solutions, and that was the thing with Roberts, is once they got me trained, they had like 35 crews. I had seniority at number 7, and because of my skill set and being meticulous and actually having credentials in legitimate with the manufacturers, they made me their guy that would go out and do like inspections and repairs and things like that. So,
Yeah. So you would have to go back and clean up the bad work.
oh man, yeah, and I got paid good for that, and and that was a job that just they wouldn't give to just anybody. But I
Right.
was very picky, probably OCD with floors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people don't realize it costs more money to go back and fix something compared to just doing it right the first time.
And it's true. And the thing with Roberts had such integrity, and that's one thing that I appreciate about your floor store or your furniture store, is that the integrity. When someone's selling a product and then they back their product, they educate their clients, and they push for that client to get the best that they can possibly afford. And and you're out there working with that kind of work ethic, not just trying to make a sell, but just making a friend,
Right.
and making a business acquaintance and utilizing. I mean, you've used my company before.
Yeah.
I use your company every time I need furniture.
Oh,
And-
absolutely.
And it's been because, hey, it's a great experience, But with Roberts, it was not so much that the repairs would cost so much. It was that the replacement of those jobs would cost a lot, because if they would bring appliances in a home and say they would accidentally tear that vinyl in about 7 spots, taking it over to where it belonged. And this was, say, maybe a $500,000, $600,000 house and a kitchen that was probably 1,500 square foot. That's a lot of money to replace. So they educated me and paid for my education so that I could repair those spots and not do
A full
replacement. So I saved that company mega dollars. And the experience I got that is priceless. I don't think in my career that I know of anyone that would be able to walk into that type of level that I was lucky to walk into.
Right. Right.
It was really nice,
Yeah.
for me, and I learned from it. That's how that I developed and became a company.
Right. Right. Well, that leads you to working for, I think you said Hogan's, Tim Hogan?
I did. What happened was, is I went on vacation. I got my last paycheck. A lot of people didn't get paid from Roberts because
They went under.
they went bankrupt, and they filed bankruptcy before they went bankrupt. And I said, I had a job lined up. I could have went to work for the union as a teacher. And I was going to train the apprentices, and it was a really promising job. It paid well, and it would have probably been a good move for me. But I really loved my job at Roberts, and I said, hey, are we going to be okay? Are they going to shut down? He says, hey, we're going to be bigger than ever, right?
Yeah.
And I said, great, I'm staying, so I stayed. And I had vacation time. I took a 2-week vacation, and I got my last paycheck. And when I come back from vacation, they had chains on the door. They had closed. And a lot of contractors, and they had more contractors than just floor guys.
Right.
So they were large. I forget the number. I know they employed well over 300 people easily. And so that put 35 guys out there competing for work.
Right.
And I did get, like, everybody was the first crew. Yeah, no matter what they said, hey, I'm the best that Roberts had,
Right.
They're all pitching themselves. But I did end up with Tim Hogan's, which was a nightmare.
Really?
Yes, because Roberts had a very professional business plan. Their flooring people were sharp. They were accurate. Everything that they did was professional, to a T. And then I end up at a store where we're back again to who cares, They don't care. You just get this in, we don't care. And a lot of the salespeople there were not trained like Roberts trained. They had skill set. These guys were kind of on their own as salespeople. So I would get the jobs, and then I would have to remanage and refigure the jobs to the point that I would have customers say, they should have sent you out. You should be manager. And after several years of listening to that, I thought, why not?
Yeah. So then that's when you decided to make a big move.
In 2007, I was sitting in my driveway. I had went to a job. The job was just a horrible job. I go out there, they tell these people all these things, they make all these promises. It's always the same story. And then when you get there, you've got a work order. You're looking at your work order. The work order doesn't reflect what the salesman says.
Right.
And you're looking at the client. You're holding the bag. You're in the house. You're the last impression in this house. So it appeared to me throughout my career, the only thing that was happening is that what we call the front end of the sale, when the salesperson would handle the client and help them select the selection. That process was really good for most companies. I think everybody can do that process. And then they grab that third-party guy. Hey, we're going to send a guy to come out and measure. And he's a third-party guy. He doesn't even work for the store. And he does his part. And then, and then they got to wait on all of that. They got to wait on the CAD to, the drawing to be done and the figuring of the job. Then the customer has to come back into the store, and they got to go over the job and how they're going to do it. And and it was just a complicated process. And then because the salesman was a guy that didn't have a skill set, the measure guy doesn't have a skill set. Now all of a sudden they order the job, and then it goes to an installation manager, and then he decides, okay, I got 15 guys. I'm going to give this one to Whitt, or I'm going to give this one to this guy.
Yeah, who gets the job?
Right, who gets the job. And then generally they're picking skill set, like, okay, this is 200 yards. This has to be Whitt, or, because they could be like I was in the beginning with Bryant Brothers, and they could only do a bedroom. But look, if push comes to shove, they're going to send that bedroom guy out to your house.
Right.
Make no mistake about it. That's what third-party installation is. It's about having a body show up because you paid for a floor.
Right.
And this is where that I had a problem, because my skill set was so high during that time. that I was being cheated because I was going out to these jobs and all these things were missed. And when I would look at these clients and say, well, we just can't lay your vinyl. We're going to have to scrape your vinyl up. We're going to have to float your floor. You have a big crack going down the center here. They didn't even see that. And this requires extra labor, extra time, extra money, obviously.
Yeah.
So I'm the bad guy to the store because now I found all these things that they missed. And the store's the bad guy to the customer because the store shouldn't have missed none of that.
Right.
And now I've got an hour and a half wrapped up in re-estimating a job and recalculating. And that's when the clients would say, hey, why didn't you do the job? But, I would always try to keep that client for them because I was a team player. But I had to guarantee my work. I had to make sure that when I left there, my name, my integrity was good. Mm-hmm. And by me doing that, I was looking out for the store and their better interest, And then a lot of times stores they didn't care about that better interest. Just put the floor in and we'll handle the complaint later. So that day in 2007 when I pulled up in my driveway after the last deal, I was like, man, I can't take any more. This is insane. I was actually going to sell windows and go to work for a friend of mine selling windows. I just had enough. And he had a business plan for his windows and how he would advertise and how he would script talking to people. And I never had been into sales. I just had been an installer. And so I kind of got to talk to him. He says, Tommy, he says, why even sell windows? He said, you're so good at floors. He says, here, just take this stuff. He said, and just start you a carpet store. He said, you'll be great. And I thought about it. I was like, what, you trying to blow me off? You don't want me to go to work for you, man?
Yeah.
And he says, no. He said, but you know so much about floors. He said, this is fail-proof for you. And that's what it was. I took the concepts of advertisement and began to advertise. And I immediately started closing jobs. And what separated me from the people that had been working with is that I had full control of the job from the beginning to the end.
Right. Well, we'll get more into that a little bit later, but that was like around 2008, right? And that's when you basically got your brick and mortar.
Yes. That was in 2007, 2008. And so what happened was I sold enough work that I had enough workflow coming in. I needed buying power. I was buying locally. I had partnered in with some people here locally and had decent buying power. I was trying to save people money and give them the best quality that I could. And in order for me to have got better buying power, through different companies like Shaw or Boyu of America, those companies, I had to have a storefront to get those materials to purchase them. You couldn't they didn't sell to the general public.
Right.
So the brick and mortar came in not because I wanted to sell out of the store and be like everybody else. It came in for buying power. So what I decided to do was make purchasing floors, which I still do today, the most convenient thing for a client's experience and not so hard, not so difficult.
Right.
So we used that for storage. We used that for buying power, but we were still a floor to your door company where we would bring the samples to you.
Right.
And you basically get everything all in one shot. Like we operate like that today. So what happens is today we don't even advertise. We have such a large volume of word of mouth that, we get a phone call. I talk to you just like we're talking now. Hey, Frank, how you doing?
Right.
How can I help you? What is it that you're looking for? What areas you want to do? It's a non-scripted deal. I mean, we know what we have to do when we come to a house. We've been doing it a long time. And the big thing is just setting that appointment with you.
Mm-hmm.
You say, hey, I want some beige carpet in my bedrooms, and I want some planks in my kitchen and my living room and my hall, and I'm going to bring you some samples. And when I come, I'm going to come loaded for bear, and we're going to select something. I'm going to be there about an hour. I'm going to measure your house while you look at samples, and I'm going to be prepared while you're still looking. Within an hour, I'm going to have your numbers of how many square foot that you have. There's no sending nobody back. All within an hour, hour and a half, you'll have a price for the product that you like. And you'll have a professional like myself who's done floors since the 80s. There's not going to be, oh, I missed this, or oh, I missed that. No back charging, none of that. If I miss something, then it's yours for free.
Right.
It's just the way it has to be.
Yeah.
So I still take that 80s and 90s integrity and carry it up to today. So I think our process is elite. I think compared to going shopping, which is exhausting.
Right.
And you don't find something at that store, you go into another store, and you go into another store,
right,
only to find out everybody has the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all the same stuff.
Right. You need the right carpet at the right price, installed by the right people. This is simple.
Yeah. This is you just made it a lot easier process. And then from there, basically on 2014, that's when you basically started getting, you changed it to Dayton Carpet Online. Yeah,
we were Whitt's flooring store for a long time. And what happened is I was old school, so I wanted to be technology savvy.
Yeah.
So as I wanted to grow and become a little larger than what I was, I decided that, hey, I need a good name that can be remembered. And I need a website, because I would much rather get rid of the brick and mortar, use storage, use local companies for my buying power. I'm going to go back to that again. And you can visit my website. You can email me at info@Dayton Carpet Online, or you can call me. You can call my phone number, 937-818-6633, and you're going to get me. You're not going to get another salesman. Hey, I tell people all the time, this is true. I give personal service to people. This is something you don't get from brick and mortar stores.
Right.
You can reach me up till the news goes off.
Yeah.
You can call me at 7 a.m. Right. You have me all day. If I don't answer my phone, I'm calling you back.
Right.
Text me. I'm like family. You're not going to bother me.
Exactly.
And if I'm with a client, I'm going to text you right back. I'm with a client. I'll get back with you. So that was the whole thing. Changing the name, the image of what I wanted to become. At that time, we become a member with the Better Business Bureau, and we maintained a solid A+ rating from 2014 to present.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. That's really great. And then from there, now recently, not only are you doing flooring, but you said you're starting to get into general contracting.
Yeah, it's like anything else. I started off doing carpet, and then we added the carpet and the vinyl, the carpet, the vinyl, the planks. And throughout the years, people, hey, can you paint this for me? Hey, do you know someone that can do baseboard? You kind of venture into things. And what I've done is I've grown. Like, the economy always changes, and I've always been a small business, and they always say, keep it small. Like, small boats can turn faster than large boats.
Right. And
the economy is always changing. It's always either for the good or for the worse. So you're going to have your ups and downs. So, there for a while we were doing, carpet, vinyl, laminate, hardwood, ceramic, and I do all of those things, and all the specialty work. And but the economy changed. COVID, different things that played in. So, we decided to add on other services in our company, and even investing in flipping houses. And I've grown considerably since 2014. So
Yeah, wow, that's really cool. Well, that's a really interesting and a lot of details there on your story, my friend. A lot of details.
there's a lot here, and I'm proud of the accomplishments that people have allowed my company to make, because without a consumer, without someone that's willing to say, hey, yeah, I'll let you do my job, which that's the most important person in my business, is when someone is generous to let me have their business.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, it's getting a customer is what is important, and having that mindset of thank you for letting me have your business, because
Absolutely.
that customer could give that business to anyone.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people forget, we vote every day
Right.
as Americans, and we vote with our dollar.
Exactly.
So you want that place to exist, you want that company to succeed, you vote by giving them dollars, and then the dollars they turn into profit, which keeps them alive. You don't want McDonald's to exist? I always hear this. People are like, McDonald's is terrible. It's terrible for your health. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. Okay. Then stop spending money there. And guess what?
Right.
It'll go out of business. Or they'll change, which is what they do, right?
Right.
That's why now they're into coffee. That's why they start putting salads on their menu. So, voting, we vote with our dollars. So to get that business, I'm always appreciative of customers, because that means the customer likes what we're providing and they want us to stay. That's awesome. It's the biggest compliment, right? But yeah, I mean, let's just I don't know how to say more about the customers. It's just, I'm very appreciative of customers. So to show that you care about the
Absolutely.
customers, it's super super humbling and important.
Well, it is. I learned a long time ago that if it's like if the customer's not happy, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
And I still go with the customer's right. If a customer calls you and they have a concern or a complaint, 99.99% of the time they're correct, because what they're telling you is they don't like that.
Right.
And so it's your, as Dayton Carpet Online takes that very seriously. So with bells on, we get back out, we look at it. And I say, well, hey, if I do it like this, would you like that better? And they say, yeah. And even if I think, oh, I don't like that or whatever.
Right, of course.
I will still do it, because, at the end of the road, I'm a lot like that customer. When I spend my money, I want it the way that I want it. And that's what they're doing when they're coming to me. And floors are luxury items. They're not cheap. These things, home improvements, are not cheap. And many people, they save and they save and they save. And I keep that in mind when I sell someone. Just because you're in a house that might be $500,000 doesn't mean that they have that kind of money. They may be saving to buy or whatever. Even down to $100,000 house, people work hard for what they want. So do everything right. And if they don't like that trim metal you put down, then pull it up and put another one down. They paid you enough money. Make them happy.
Right.
Make them happy. You don't have to agree with it, but just make them happy. And I think that has led me down good paths. It's open doors, because those people that they're like, I hate to be picky, but those people that I said, okay, ma'am, would you like this instead? And they say, yeah. Well, they've become my mouthpiece. Instead of giving, rebuttal like a lot of companies, they won't even come out now. They're just like, no, that's the way we do it. Take it.
Yeah, this is policy.
Yeah, and my policy is when I leave, I want you to tell Deborah and Jim and Bobby what a good job I did, and that if they get floors, that you call this guy.
Right.
I want that kind of rapport with my clients. So being a small guy, I take that more serious than a big company. You'll sift through. Nobody cares.
Yeah, no, that is true. That is true. But let's transition to our next point, which is contributing to the local community. I know that you kind of touched a little bit about it, but you're saying that from start to finish, you're dealing with you. You're not going to be dealing with third party and all that. So why don't you tell a little bit more about that? And, you also said that if you do deal with anyone else that works with you, they're either going to be local or family.
Yeah. I've tried to keep everything with local workers, family. My son works for me. I have sons that have worked for me. Right now, all of our buying power comes from local companies. We try to give next day service if we can. It makes it convenient when it's here. And so these local companies are employing several people in the area. It's all a hands washing hands type of deal, you know. And so when someone buys a floor from me, from the initial phone call to the selection of the material, the measurement of the material, the installation, they're going to have me from start to finish. No third party. I use no third party.
Wow, that's pretty cool that you're able to do that.
Yeah, and we schedule out. A lot of clients that we have they're not like super anxious to go and have something done. Like, I buy today, can you come tomorrow? I mean, we get customers like that, and then we try to accommodate that if we can. But like a lot of times, some of my clients they wait 3-4 weeks, 5 weeks, and they're fine with that because a lot of them are, hey, we're going to paint and we're going to do this. They're doing decorating. So, I'm pretty good at organizing things. And, another thing that we don't do is we don't overbook ourselves. If I start your job, then I'm with you till your job's complete. I'm not taking off to do other things.
Right. Yeah. To start another job or.
And I give people a time, hey, we'll be at your house at 9, we quit at 3:30.
Right.
And then I'll go do my measurements. I kind of schedule my day to accommodate my company. Being a small guy, I get a lot done for being a one-man bandit. I can tell you, I do.
Yeah. That's cool. So one of the things you said was a differentiator is service, which I know you have talked a little bit about that, but is there anything else you really want to add about the service aspect that makes you different than other companies?
Well, I think as far as our service goes, just from the initial phone call, like I said, we're getting information. I mean, I've done this for so long. I mean, it's kind of like this. I need you to tell me how I can help you. So I ask the right questions. I know what the end result needs to be that's in the best interest of my clients. I know I know what different floors, how the performance is, because a lot of people think, oh, he's installed a lot of floors. They never say, I bet he sure has pulled a lot of floors up and knows how those floors perform.
Right.
So a lot of times I will have people that will kind of lock horns with me, and I'm thinking,
do you ever go, all right, Mr. Jones, I see you got the lowest grade carpet we sell. It's got 3-year lifespan. Would you like to go ahead and schedule?
Yeah.
3 years from now?
That would probably be a good idea to start doing that.
That would be funny, right?
Yeah, well,
it really emphasizes that they're buying something that requires, wait, what?
Well, we're all in the same boat together. Like, come on, no carpet's going to last 25 years. They're putting 25 years on there. That's good. But when you read the fine print, you find out what they really mean by that, like fiber loss, excessive abrasion, these different things. So, I mean, if you're, I try to help people make realistic, reasonable purchases. They'll grab, like, for example, the best carpet I have, and it's really super thick, and they're like, oh, I like that. How much is it for this? And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the scenario is kind of like this. You're wanting to put this piece of carpet in your kid's room because they're like toddlers and they spill their bottle and they're they're doing all this stuff. So, I would deter a client from buying the top of the line. I would say, well, if I were you and this were my project, I would probably go with this floor here, which is going to get you about 5 years. And because a new floor, even a floor that'll get you 5 years, is still, even in the inexpensive floors, they're selling you updated colors, and it's still going to, update your house.
Right.
Come on, you're not going to have orange carpet or
shag carpet from the 70s.
Yeah.
No, that's like 50-year-old carpet. Now
Right.
that got its money's worth there.
And many times, my experience is some of the thinner carpets are outlasting the thicker carpets. And even back in the 80s, it was nylon or nothing. And now they're pushing polyester or nothing. So, it's always times change, things change. But, I try to be that service guy that doesn't oversell someone. Like, if I think they don't need something like that, I'll make suggestions and give them options. I think customers deserve options. I don't think salespeople give them options. So I don't think they're able to make healthy choices for their purchase.
Right.
So I try to be that guy using my experience level of how's this going to last. Hey, we're going to put this piece of carpet in your basement. Let's who's going to be down there? All the teenagers are going to be down there. With the Xboxes. Okay, well, don't put this Karastan down there. I don't see any reason to be spending $60 a yard on carpet.
Right.
Let's go back over here and put something like you'd put in a flip house or something that you'll get some time. It cleans good. Good cleanability. Stains. Stains, cleanability seems to be the big points. For people.
So let's talk about some recent successes and milestones you've hit. I think you said, getting to a point in your business where you don't have to pay for advertising now. It's to the point of word of mouth.
Yeah, that's been a big thing. When we first started to catapult the business, we were doing a lot of advertising. The usual what people do, bandit signs, passing out flyers, paying for clicks, just different things. And throughout the years, we did good doing that. But, we just wanted to find a steady flow. I never wanted my company to become the big guy. We're very capable of doing that, but that's not where we wanted to be. We wanted to be the quality shop.
Right.
We didn't want to be the guy that's, the more you sell, the cheaper you sell. The volume guy. I guess we call him a volume guy.
Yeah, the volume guy.
Because you got to be able to accommodate the work. So when you're a volume floor guy, now you're selling, 100 jobs a week. Well, that's a lot of installers, and you're at the mercy of every one of those guys, whether their skill set's good, whether they're going to show up. And that was just more drama than what I kind of wanted, because everybody knows it's not even just floors. It's just anytime you're going to have 30 people working for you, you're going to have that mix.
Right.
And I didn't want to deal with that. Early on, when I started Whitt's Flooring, we were running, I think we sold close to $1 million our first year. And there was a lot of installers involved. There was a lot of bodies involved, and it was a lot of stress. So when I did the online thing, I decided I was going to be closer to like a quality shop like Backraft in Centerville, or someone on that par where, hey, we're going to go all out. We're power stretching floors, we're giving you invisible seams. I mean, just small. I want to stay small, and I want to work for the person that wants top-notch work and the best quality flooring, the middle of class flooring, whatever they want, but the best installation. We pride ourselves on our installations.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean that's good. I mean it's better to focus on a small group where you can make sure it's done right, compared to just giving everyone 80% instead of 100%, because you're stretched too thin. I mean, it makes no sense to do that.
And one of the things that we've done and that we started doing, like talking about earlier, changes we have made, and we've tried to stay with the times. And we're living in a time where it's click and order everything. Even with your furniture, people can just go on there on your website and they can just click.
Yeah.
And wow, the next thing you know, Frank, you're delivering a sofa or a bed to their house, and it's that easy. I mean,
Yeah.
you just make it simple. And it's the same with the floors. They can go to Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards and they go click, and that floor's there in 3 days, and they just want to buy their product, and they want to have someone install it. Well, I am one of the few stores that will. We open the door to install clients' floors.
Yeah.
And the reason we did that is because we have so much buying power. And we have great buying power. We have great prices. I promise you we do. Very competitive. But there's always that guy that has that special deal. Maybe you have a house that you're going to rent and you're buying this stuff for 99 cents. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, yeah, we'll come put it in. You call us, we'll come put your floor in for you.
Right.
So you can buy ours or we'll install yours, which was something we added. And we're still doing. We feel that it works for us if it works for you.
Yeah, that's one of the things we didn't really talk a lot about. But yeah, I mean you were saying that you will do your own material or their material, which, like you said, what works for the customer, which is interesting. But that's cool that you would actually do that, because a lot of places won't.
They won't, and we'll also guarantee the labor on those floors.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level. But let's switch it up a little bit. Let's talk about something a little bit more personal. Let's talk about local. Basically, what we were saying is, how do you collaborate with other local businesses? And one of the things that you were saying is about you just reached a milestone on your own personal level, or life, I should say, which is 15 years of clean and sober. And then you also contribute by various different organizations. You have donated money for other people to be able to achieve this goal.
Yeah, definitely. Being in the program for many years, I have achieved almost 16 years sobriety, which also helped catapult my business because everything changed, and I become realistic and more serious. But as an outreach for people that give me those chances and love me, during that time. I've had compassion on those that are in the programs, that young people that are struggling or whatever, and I have donated to benefits that help addicts and alcoholics, benefits for people that's passed away that couldn't pay for their expenses. We've done Thanksgiving for churches and things like that that would do outreach in the community, and one of them here being local. All of these are local people in this area, so a lot of times when people buy from me, they don't realize that a portion of that money could be going to help the heroin addicts at a facility that's inpatient or whatever. So we donate. We try to reach out and do a little something.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
it's a major
as a give back.
Yeah, it's a major give back, and and the little give backs like that is what ultimately make the big impacts of changing
Absolutely
people's lives in the local community, which is this is what it's all about. We're here to. Everyone wants to know about it. Everyone wants to hear about what it is that we're all doing, and now people know. It's pretty cool. I reach out. I'm an empath. I'll get a call that, hey, we don't have rent over here for this person, and then the next thing you know, I'm trying to figure it out, and if I can't find nobody, I'll pay it all. I just kind of have tried to use my blessing to bless other people. Of course.
So.
Well, let's talk about anything that excites you. I know you're coming up with a pretty big project that you're finishing up here, and I believe you said it's your 5th flip house that you just are about to achieve.
Yes. Yep. We have a closing coming up on the 20th, and what a project! This project was different than any other project. But we had bought a house. I've gotten into the real estate, the rehab, like we were talking, how I've added some of that in. So we've been doing whole house rehabs, the siding, the roofing, drywall. I mean, just total guts and reinstalls, building it back new. And this particular house had a fire, and we had to completely do a rebuild.
Yeah, got it all.
Yeah, and it lasted a little bit longer, but we've been blessed. We have flipped 5 houses. So as my company's grown, part of expanding a lot of times is not just selling floors, but it's just getting more ingrained into the construction of things and in homes. So, it helps my business because the more you know about a house and a structure, a lot better job you can do with like ceramics and hardwoods and different things,
Yeah, and then you can truly help the customer. Even if they don't want
Absolutely.
you to fix it, you can say, hey, this needs addressed, just so you know.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you probably don't want to hear this. This is another project.
Yeah.
But at least you can let them know.
Well, yeah, because what happens is it's like when you go to a job and say you're doing a bathroom and they want you to pull their shower out and they want their floor done in their bathroom, and the next thing you know, you look over there, the floor is all rotted through. You pull, you break the shower out and it's all rotted. There's black mold back there. Okay. At that point, another company's going to opt out and say, hey, you know what? We don't do this. Let us know when you get it fixed.
Right.
All right. So what happened to that customer is they've experienced a company that only specializes in walls or floor. With my company, we come in, we'll rebuild your floor for you.
Right.
We'll take care of the mold. We'll get rid of all of that, and we'll make it go away. And I'm going to hang with you until it's done. You don't have to go find somebody else. You don't have that worry. So we take a lot of stress off a lot of our clients.
Right.
And I think that's why we come highly recommended, because when I'm in there with you. I'm right in the trenches with you until we're done.
There you go. There you go. Well, cool. How can how can listeners get a hold of you and support you? What's the best way? I think you said your phone number and email. So why don't you tell us about that?
My phone number and email. We do have a website. It's under construction right now.
No problem with that.
We're adding products. We're making things different. It's going to be a new year, so I kind of shut it down. A lot of times our website's just a calling card anyways.
Right.
But the best way to get a hold of me is my personal cell, which is 937-818-6633. My name's Tommy Whitt. And if you want to just email me, maybe your work hours or whatever they are, it's too early or it's too late to call, just message me an email at info@DaytonCarpetOnline.com.
Okay.
And we will respond.
All right. Awesome. Well, that pretty much wraps us up here. Is there any words of wisdom that you'd like to leave us with? I know you were saying that you live life pretty simply. So.
I live it simple, I live by the golden rule,
Yes.
Treat others like you'd want to be treated, and always live in love, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tom, thanks for being on the show today. I hope you had fun. Hope you enjoyed it.
I did, Frank.
All right, good. Well, until next time, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Subscribe and follow to our Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, or your favorite podcast platform. Be sure to sign up for our email list and receive an email to watch the show Wednesday at 8 a.m. Do you know a great Dayton business that you would like to see on the show? Visit our website at DaytonApproved.com and click on the Contact tab and tell us who you'd like to see.